guys, welcome to Blaugrana United, welcome to another video. And today has been confirmed the departure of Ivan Rakitic to Sevilla for a fee of 1.5 million euros. And I wanted to say that, for one, this is going to be a video discussing Ivan Rakitic, and for me personally it's going to be thanking Ivan Rakitic for everything that he has done at Barcelona. For me, Rakitic has been one of the best players in Barcelona history. And when I say best players, I'm not going to put a number where he places. I'm going to say he's been one of the best players to ever play for Barcelona. And I think that anyone that can look back at what Rakitic has been for Barcelona, he's been of great service for the club. I consider him to be one of the greatest legends in our club's history. You know, I think we're always going to have that image of Busquets, Xavi and Iniesta, but other midfielders and other players at Barcelona probably don't get the recognition that they should have, and for me Rakitic is one of those. Because let's remember, Rakitic arrived for what? 13 million euros, 15 I think it was, something like that, in 2014. After the World Cup, after a great season with Sevilla, he arrived to Barcelona with already established Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. Rakitic went in with Luis Enrique and established himself as a starter for the club in his first season, winning the Champions League, winning the treble, and following 6 wonderful years of a career that I think we have to say that a lot of players would envy the career of Rakitic. Rakitic, for me, it's always going to be remembered for the great moments that he's given. And I'm not going to say that it's been perfect, that Rakitic is the best midfielder in the world. No. But he's been great. Like, I have to say that Rakitic is always going to be one of my favorite midfielders of all time that have worn the Barcelona shirt. He's been absolutely unbelievable, scoring in the Champions League final. That goal against Real Madrid, that goal against Tottenham Hotspur. Those great moments that Rakitic has delivered year in and year out. I know that there's been some criticism for Rakitic, especially these past 2 years, and especially this season. And I get it. I get the criticisms. But I think that Rakitic is being kind of scapegoated to be, people always try to look for villains and heroes. And normally the hero is always Messi. And the villain in the previous times has been Mathieu, has been now Firpo, Semedo, Umtiti, Rakitic as of late. And I think that that's a mistake, because you have to look at the collective, and Rakitic, in my opinion, has been at least always a 6. I think Rakitic's performances over a season has never dropped under a 6. The thing is that when you're used to at least an 8 performance out of Rakitic during the season, you notice that it's dropped to a 6. But Rakitic, for me, has never been a horrible player for Barcelona. He's had some horrible games, but every player at Barcelona and every player at any club is allowed to have horrible games. They're always not going to be perfect. Otherwise, they would be truly amazing players. That's why Messi and Ronaldo tend to be compared to some of the greatest players, because their performances over 15 years have been absolutely phenomenal. And Rakitic is one of those players that has had 10 years of wonderful performances for Barcelona. He started showing himself in Croatia, in Croatia, then consequently in Basel, in Switzerland. Later he moved to Schalke, where they couldn't find the right sport for him, and consequently another Manchi signing. He went to Sevilla, broke all sorts of great performances. He gave lessons of football, and then joined Barcelona in 2014. His best years for me have to be the treble season in 2015-16. The 15-16 season he was also pretty good. But for me, his best season has to be the first season under Ernesto Valverde, the 17-18 season, where he, even when it was time for the World Cup, was one of the best players. And I'm always going to be comparing this. And a lot of players, Modric won the Ballon d'Or in 2018, for me undeservedly, and I think that for many of you guys would agree that Modric never in the world should have won that Ballon d'Or in 2018. But for me, he was one of the best players in the world, and together with Modric was also Ivan Rakitic. For me, they both had pretty much the same exact year in terms of brilliant performances. They were absolutely fantastic, and for me, Rakitic, that's why he's always going to be remembered as one of the Barcelona greats, and that's why he should be remembered as one of the Barcelona greats. Sadly, Barcelona fans have, or like not Barcelona fans, I want to say football fans in general, they're short-minded. They think of what's happened last, and it's pretty sad that what's going to happen last is going to be this season for Ivan Rakitic, where, you know, at the beginning of the season there was an amount of support for Rakitic when he wasn't playing, but whenever he was playing, he was booed. So if he hasn't played, he is told that he's underappreciated, and if he plays, then everyone wants him to not play. It's kind of confusing. It's kind of, you know, I think unfair. And I just wanted to say this because he came in during, I think, the last good transfer window that Barcelona had. I think we can say that for sure 2014 was the last real good transfer window Barcelona had. We had Luis Suarez coming, we had Rakitic, Ter Stegen, Claudio Bravo. Like, we had a couple of really good players join Barcelona that summer, and I think it was the last summer where we actually had a project, where we were actually building a good thing, where we also had, you know, Messi in his prime, Suarez in his prime, Iniesta was still very useful, Busquets in his prime, Piqué. Like, we still had a bunch of players that were at an amazing, unbelievable level for Barcelona. And this is what I want to remember for Ivan Rakitic. I want the best for him at Sevilla. I wish that he finishes his career very well. And I would like Rakitic to return to Barcelona if he wanted to. I know that he, in his heart, is a Sevilla fan. I know that. And there's no shame in saying that. There's no, if your favorite club is not Barcelona, there's not a problem with that. His wife is from Sevilla. He, you know, his best years probably personally have been at Sevilla. Like, just not as a professional, but personally, his best years have probably been at Sevilla. He met his wife. His kids were born in Sevilla as well. You know, he's had so many memories there. But I would like him eventually, if he wants to continue after football to do anything, maybe coach, maybe a sporting director, an agent, or something like that. I think he should always be welcome, and I hope that he's always welcome. And for me personally, you're always welcome back to Barcelona, Ivan Rakitic. For me, he places, if I would have to say a starting 11 of the Barcelona great, he probably doesn't get into the 11, or he definitely doesn't get into the 11, but he definitely absolutely gets into the bench, because he is one of the Barcelona greats. He has had performances that have been outstanding for Barcelona, and that is something that I think we can all, and we should all, appreciate from Rakitic. Now, that doesn't say that it's all been dandy and it's all been, you know, a rainbow and stuff, because he hasn't. Rakitic has had his bad moments at Barcelona. He's had some off-the-field things that he's done that, you know, not personally things that I would have done. Like, I mean, a lot of people right now, the last thing they're going to remember is that himself throwing into the pool after Sevilla won the Europa League, which, you know, I don't see it as a big issue, as like the greatest issue. Like, you know, some people criticize that he went to Sevilla to a festival that I think 2 days after we lost against Roma. But if he had that trip schedule, what is he gonna do? Like, is he not gonna go? And if he gets recognized, then what is he gonna do? Like, you know, it's things like that. And it's what I want to do with this video is leave it out there that Rakitic has been a player, a model professional in my opinion, in terms of what he's given, because Rakitic hasn't always had it easy. In his first 3 seasons, he had to battle for a spot. He had to play at a really high level to keep himself as a Barcelona starter, and he's done it with graces. I remember that 16-17 season, where the last year of Luis Enrique, where Rakitic wasn't in this pure star, because we had Andre Gomez, we had Denis Suarez, and you know, Andre Gomez and Denis Suarez were given some chances to perform during that season, but they couldn't keep a spot because Rakitic at the second half of the season, you know, showed up, was always working hard, was always doing the work, and that's why he earned, I think, an undisputed star spot. And that's why, and I'm the one that also said, or that also thought that back in 2018, when PSG offered 80 million euros for Rakitic, I believe it was 90 million euros, and it was confirmed by PSG that they were approaching Rakitic for that money, that they decided to keep him when he was 30 years old, I think was travesty. But if you decided to keep him and renew his contract, then make sure that he leaves on a good note at Barcelona. And I think he's going to leave at a good note, but it could have been better. I mean, that doesn't take away that we should have gotten those 89 million euros because, a 30-year-old player, someone that is not going to get better, it's only going to go down from there. Even if he has good performances, which he's had, Rakitic is a player that I still think to this day can give good performances. And I'm going to be honest, since the break, he's been one of our best midfielders. I think that he's had some bad performances here or there, but that's, I think, more of a collective thing because the team generally plays bad, and when the team generally plays bad, most players play bad. There's only those outstanding names like maybe Ter Stegen, Messi, that even when the team plays really badly, they can perform at a high level. But that's individual performances. We have to separate the individual from the general, and how the general performance of the team affects the individuality of all the players around them. That being said, also, I would like to recognize Rakitic for his role change at Barcelona, because he's had to change his role constantly at Barcelona. He was always, I would like to say that, I'm not going to say he was like Frankie de Jong when he arrived to Barcelona, but he was a player that was very used to getting into the ball, going to the final third, approaching the final third very well. And he's had to change his role as he's aged. He's had to, defensively get much better defensively, his positioning, his awareness. And that is something that I think that a player like De Jong needs to learn from, because I don't think De Jong can ever be Sergio Busquets, at least in his mind defensively. Because what I've seen of Sergio Busquets at his prime is, I've never seen it ever in another footballer. But I think that De Jong can learn something from Rakitic in that sense. Be better defensively in awareness. And I think he's gonna gain that with time because he's very young. Rakitic, he's 32. He's had a lot of years of experience, and I think De Jong would eventually learn that. But he needs to learn that there's also more things than just having the ball, than just controlling, than just, there's more things to the Barca football, and that's only going to help him become a better player. I think that this is going to help Barcelona. We are, not going to pay his wages for one more season, which is going to be good. We're not getting the transfer fee that we probably deserve for the good play that Rakitic is, but, we have other players that we need to give performances for. We have Milan Pjanic that I mentioned already. He's a very similar player to Rakitic. We have De Jong, we have Riqui Puig, Busquets, we have Monchu, probably that he might go, he might stay. There is also Arturo Vidal still in the team. They look to bring in Wijnaldum, so we had to make space for players coming in and for other midfielders that need to develop and get game time. But anyways, guys, that was all that I wanted to mention in the topic of Ivan Rakitic. Leave me all your opinions about the player. Do you think that he's one of the Barcelona greats or not? Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you next one, Blaugranas.